What is up, Obscure Tech folks? Mark coming at you yet again. Whizzer, what a great name for a company. The Whizzer, bro. Sent me over the Kylin HE01 Plus IEMs. They will run you about $50. And I've got a lot to say about them. So my first collaboration with Whizzer, they did send them over. Thank you guys very much for sending me some product that I do have a lot of good things to say about, but there are some other things here that you're going to have to think about when you consider purchasing the HE01 Plus. I'm going to say the unboxing experience is very nice. The IEMs not in there, as you can see, but you do get a nice big box of accessories. And when you open that box, you get something I absolutely love. Anytime a manufacturer of IEMs send you any kind of carrying device at all, whether it's a pouch, whether it's a little soft box, I really enjoy that. And they also sent over an absolute ton of tips. And I like that as well, because tips are a very strange thing for me. That's what she said. Sometimes small fit the bill for me. Sometimes it's medium, rarely large, but the fact that they send over a plethora of tips, black centered and clear centered, you know, they've got the black centers there, the clear centers here. The clear seems a little softer, black seem a little more firm. That's always a plus. Now, I'm going to show you the frequency response chart on the back of this. I would say that is a fairly accurate. It does kind of have that V-shaped sound, and the treble does tail off. So that seems fairly accurate. I'm going to also show you the IEMs with a close-up, because for $50, there is a few things that I really like about this package. Let's check it out. Okay, so here are the IEMs themselves from Whizzer. This is a very nice silver, kind of sparkly. I don't have the absolute best overhead cam, but they're a little smaller than most IEMs. So there is a bit of a reliance on the tips to keep these really anchored in your ears. I don't love that. I'd rather them been a little bigger, but they are pretty. I will say that. They're pretty. The cable that runs around your ear also stiffer than most, which I like, because that does help keep them anchored a little bit. But overall, I think the shell should have just been a little more fitting to the ear, but then you wouldn't get those looks, I guess. They do look really nice, and this cable for a pair of budget IEMs is absolutely excellent quality for the price. This is one of the best cables I've received with a budget IEM at $50 or under. It's braided. It's very nice. It does not feel cheap whatsoever. You do have a Velcro Whizzer thing to keep it all wrapped up nice and tight. And the 3.5 millimeter jack, also, you know, substantial. Doesn't feel cheap whatsoever. The whole package just feels really premium for $50. I've been using the very small USB-C DAC, if you want to call it a DAC. The M1 from Amazon. I'll put a link in the description. Not the best. It works really well, but it does have like a little click every time the song switches. There's a little pop. Not anything special, but sound quality wise, it is pretty decent. I used this. I used one from Linsole, and I got similar results here. So no matter what I did, I ran it through a 0.4 millimeter balance connection as well. Quality didn't change a whole lot for these on that. I do like to test amongst different inputs, but here's what I can say about the HE01 Plus sound wise. So I'm going to get straight to one of the selling points here. For $50, the quality you're getting, the case, the tips, hard to argue. Package as a whole, very nice. Sound quality, it is pretty good. Now, I say pretty good with some caveats. For $50, quite good. The bass on the HE01 Plus, while not overwhelming, does have a bit of distortion for me. The treble, where it rolls off after that boost in the 2 to 3K range before tapering back off, is fairly nice. I think some of the bass mixed with the treble falling off a little earlier than most IEMs, there's just something lacking there. It's got a nice overall sound, but there is something about that slight V and the treble and bass, the way they are hitting, I guess I should say, that leaves some space out of the equation. There's not a lot of space. You don't get a lot of like big open sound. Everything feels kind of tight. Now, nice, but tight. Like, the separation is kind of there, but not with distance in between it, if that makes any sense at all. It's almost kind of like a straightforward sound that's fairly balanced, but you're not going to feel like you are hearing things in stereo, if that makes any sense. There's no wall of sound here that I've heard from some other IEMs. Again, nice and tight, mostly controlled, solid sound, just not spacious enough for me. I want a little more space, depth to it. And I feel like these are very straightforward with not a lot of depth. Some of the least depth I've heard. And by depth, I just mean that depth in space. Like, I don't feel like I'm having that 3D experience like I do with some other IEMs, if that makes any sense at all. Again, these sound better than most of the ultra budget IEMs I have received from the likes of KZ and others, but there is a few pair of budget IEMs, ultra budget IEMs, the Vader Pro, the Caster Pro, which I haven't done yet, that I just feel like offer more of a dynamic sound than these do. More dynamic range, more of that wall of sound. And the High-Dice's MK Turris, MK1, MK2, can't remember, also just kind of feel like I'm in another world. I don't really feel like I'm in another world with these, but these are very pleasant. They do not wear on me over time. They're solid all-arounders, and for $50, like I said, the materials, the cables, the tips, the whole package is really good if you're not looking for that almost theater-like experience when you're listening to your music. So that's what I say on these. I do not love them on heavier music. I find them to be best on lighter stuff. Pop music especially, you know, they really sound balanced on that. Because that bass can get a little distorted, anything with overly distorted guitars just doesn't work for me with these. Hip-hop's fine. Classical rock is fine. Classical music is fine. Piano ballads is fine. Most things are really solid, and I don't think you'll be disappointed, but I also don't think you'll be blown away. But for $50, that's kind of the name of the game. So, Whizzer, Kylin, HE01 Plus. Definitely a recommend if you're understanding for what kind of sound you're getting for $50. But there are IEMs at $20 that I like a little more sound-wise. But there are not IEMs at $21 or $20. 21, where'd that come from? That I like the total package, the quality of the cable, quality of just everything, all the way down to the plug-in. It's hard to argue for $50, especially if you like a straightforward sound and you don't want that dynamic range. That's just my take. Whizzer, Kylin, HE01 Plus. Thank you for sending it to me. Appreciate them over there. Hopefully I can check out some more. Hopefully they'll hear me on my like for spacious, and maybe they've got an answer that'll hit more of my taste preferences. But again, if you want straightforward, well-built, good accessories, nice package, nice-looking IEMs, the sound has nothing really overly wrong with it, especially if you're not listening to metal. If you're not a metalhead at all, or not big into distorted guitar, I would say these are definitely for you, in the $50 range. Obscure Tech. See you guys next time. Peace out.